E io gente, siete su Streetcom solo su u4music.it. Indovinate dove vi abbiamo portato oggi, non ci crederete mai, siamo alla EMI Music di Milano. Incontreremo gli Evanescence, qui con noi il nostro aiuto traduzione Francesca, saluta.
Ciao.
E guardatevi il tape perché spacca. EMI Music, Evanescence, U4Music, Robby D, ce la vediamo. Hi Hemi, this is Robby D and welcome on U4Music. Let's talk about your new work. How was to work with your production? What kind of help did they give you during the process of production? Did they let you totally free to express yourself?
Well, actually, the producer that we ended up making a record with was Nick Minutes. He produced Deftones' last record, he produced Foo Fighters records, he produced a lot of really cool stuff, and Rush too, and Alice in Chains. And he absolutely did. Totally creative, passionate music fan. It was cool because in the studio, really, the energy never fell. He was always ready to keep going and keep rocking out and getting excited and dancing around and playing air guitar, and had a lot of really good ideas too. Definitely would love to work with him anytime.
In which way Evanescence is different from your previous works? What's new in this album?
I think it's different, yeah. I think that it has some growth. It's interesting. I really wanted to make a little bit of a departure, and we experimented with a lot of different things. When we were writing the record, went through kind of a lot of phases before finding the sound, for the new thing. But at the end of the day, especially since it had been so long, I had a chance to really remember and appreciate and find my home again within the band that I've always been a part of. So I think that this record is a departure. It is a little different. It's had a new attitude. It's up-tempo. It's rocking, and it's kind of badass. But at the same time, it's absolutely an Evanescence record. I don't think it would be right, especially to call it Evanescence, if it wasn't or true for the fans Evanescence record.
I think that this album has a crazy groove, and the rhythm is one of the key elements of the record. At the same time, I think it's totally different compared to the Open Door and Fallen.
I think that actually, I know you didn't really ask a question, but you're right on. I think that part of the reason the rhythm and the drums really were such a big part of the record. I mean, we have a wonderful drummer. This is the first record that we made with Will. He's been in the band for a while and we toured and everything together, but this is the first time he was playing on the record. He's an incredible drummer. But also, a lot of these songs were formed as a band, sitting with the drummer, and the guitar players and the band and the bass, all working together on creating the feel of the song at the same time, rather than just sort of, the chord progressions at the piano or with keyboards or whatever. It really was driven more by the band. So yeah, you're right.
Amy, your video and your music are always a little bit dark. Nothing to say about the power of the music, but why do we feel this darkness and sadness?
Well, Evanescence is sort of my place for, it's my diary. It's the place to put my biggest feelings. So it's not that it's all sad. I wouldn't want it all to come across that way, for sure. But so many times, the biggest feelings that you have are when you're going through something that's hard. And our music has definitely had, a lot of that be the center, a lot of that kind of therapeutic outpouring of emotion. It's just passionate. So that's in there. I'm not a sad person. I'm a happy person. I have a good life. And I always want our music to still maintain hope. So I hope that comes through as well.
You said that your single track has to be different from the other sound. What kind of freedom are you talking about? Because freedom is what you are talking about, right?
Well, for me, yeah. It's I think almost a better way to say it is it's about overcoming fear. It's about don't be afraid to go and live your life, because life doesn't last forever, and you shouldn't waste your life being afraid to try because you're afraid to feel. So do what you want.
In 1988, you record an EP named Evanescence, and now a new album with the same name. Does it mean anything? It's like a back to basic.
I think what you're talking about is probably something that was put together by fans. There's a lot of little CDs and things out there in the universe that are really just compilations that fans put together and put a cover on, and because they're really just old demos from when the band was first starting out. So I think that's just a coincidence there. Yeah.
You started to write songs a few years ago, but the album has been released now. What did you do in the meanwhile? What happened?
I haven't taken a vacation in years. Honestly, once I got to the point where I felt like I had the mission and I knew that I wanted to make a record of some kind, I just started really focusing on that and writing all the time. We really have been working on the songs for this album for 2 years. Definitely, some of the songs on the record are that old. Which is really cool because I think it's very dynamic. You know, a lot goes on in your life in 2 years or 3 years. So there's a lot of different things to talk about and a lot of different elements to the music too, just from some experience.
Where did you get the idea of this album? Where did you start from?
Sometimes I'll just sit at the piano by myself and just start coming up with ideas. That's where a lot of my root ideas come from, that I will come and share then with the band, and we'll create the full song together. But it's good for me sometimes to just start by myself so I can get the idea of the song and then we can make it full. But other times it'll come from a guitar part that somebody wrote, or even just drums, honestly. Some of the songs on this record, we really sat as a band and went, okay, who has an idea? Check this out, what do you think? And then, you know, it becomes what it is from everyone putting their little bit of input in. I think that that collaboration is something that is something that's new for this band to work that way. And that's part of the reason it's a self-titled album. It's a little bit more band-driven like that. I think that's really cool. I think it really gives it a special energy. But I do write a lot by myself as well. It's kind of, especially the lyrics. Lyrics always come at the very end, almost always, when I'm by myself. So we'll write the music and the melodies and then I'll go, okay, bye. Lock myself in the room and just like get serious.
There's a track of this album reminds me of Björk. We know that you like electronics. Has this genre inspired you and this new album?
Yeah, actually, there was a phase that I went through where I didn't know really if it was an Evanescence record yet, or if it was solo, or what it was going to be. And that song came from that time. You know, I really like to be able to create without any rules. I didn't want to make a plan, like, okay, we're gonna make an Evanescence record, it's gonna sound like this, and blah, blah, blah. I don't like to make a plan. I like to just write and see what happens and see what is inspiring. And then I kept saying, everyone was asking me for a while, like, what is this? Is this solo? Is it Evanescence or what? And I was like, I don't know. Like, don't push me. I'm gonna write the music and then let the music tell us what it's supposed to be. So for a while there was a lot of music that was sort of in this in-between world. I really love that song. I'm really proud of it. And for a while I thought that it wasn't going to be on the record because it didn't fit. I love it, but I thought that it was maybe too different. But then the more that I've gotten refamiliarized with what I believe Evanescence is and all the things that it can be, it's a very big canvas. It doesn't have to be all one way, and our music has always been a little bit dynamic. So I thought it was cool to be able to use that song as sort of the ending, because the song before it, Never Go Back, is the big epic finale. We were imagining that at the end. And then to drift into like the calm after the storm, you know, like that peaceful kind of bittersweet goodbye, I think is really great, and it works really well actually.
Amy, how much the relationship with your fans changed compared to the beginning?
I remember when we were first touring on our first record, and we were first going to other countries and meeting our fans all over the place. And you know, it's cool because it's a new experience, but we didn't know them yet, and you don't know what that really means. I feel now that I really have learned that we have fans that are fans for life, that are true fans of this music and of this idea and of this band, not just one song for 1 year and then they're off to something else. They really, truly care about the whole work and follow us and support us. And it's an amazing thing to be coming back now the third time and feel like we have a core group of supporters that are rooting for us. And it's not about judgment and like they better live up to their expectations and give us a record we love. They just love us. And especially there's all over the world, but I especially feel that love with our fans here in Italy. We're going to be seeing some of them later today. I remember them. They're like a group of friends that I have overseas that we get to come see every time we do this, and they're so wonderful to us. The fans are a huge part of the reason that we're able to still do this. So I feel like our relationship with our fans, at least for me, is just better than ever. It feels like an old, strong relationship.
Someone wrote that now you're looking for a new sound, a little more commercial compared your previous works. What do you think about?
I don't know. I think that in some ways, absolutely, because the vocals are sort of more sassy and pop-like at sometimes. But on the other hand, like the music itself is heavier to me. I think the easiest bridge that I can make from the last record to this one would be like "Call Me When You're Sober" to "What You Want." You know, it's got some of that same flavor, but the difference is that "What You Want" is a lot heavier. So, I don't know. On one hand, yes, and on the other hand, no.
Continuity and homogeneity of the band is a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, just like I was just saying, I really think that it makes a big difference when everybody's working as a unit. Sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't, and that's totally fine. And I still do a lot of one-on-one writing and two-on-one writing. A lot of this album was written between Tim and Terry and I. Which has been really cool having Tim be a part of the writing team. I think he really brought a lot to the table that wasn't there before. Yeah, it's great.
Amy, thanks a lot for being with us. Would you say hi to our fans?
Hey, this is Amy from Evanescence, and you're watching U4 Music.